I think I'm very comfortable. I've watched the match back, that I can explain what's happened. A match is never as bad as you think and never as good as you think. And there were some things in the first half, in aspects that were actually some of the best things in certain aspects that I've seen this season. But in the second half, the change was big in the intensity. The change in the performance was obviously there for all to see. And I think it's not just been a situation against Rayo Vallecano. I think it's happened in other matches in Villarreal or against Eibar or Getafe, where we really showed fantastic spirit to come from a difficult position. And I keep mentioning the word consistency. And I think that we have a lot of young players who are fantastic players. And when I was young, I was exactly the same. You play fantastic, but then the consistency is what you always strive for. And I think at the moment we're just striving for that consistency, because in the second half we were the better team, in my opinion. We played a completely different game than the first half. The players' response in training since Sunday has been fantastic. I know that you probably don't want to hear this from me, because I know you want to know the answers all the time, but I feel very happy sat here today from what I've seen in the last 3 days. And that's the response of every single player. Now you might say, I would say that I'm a coach and let's see tomorrow night, and I agree with you. But from my point of view, I think that the game against Rayo Vallecano is easy to explain. The first half was difficult for us, the second half was a big change. And you know, we are all desperate for that consistency for 90 minutes, not just 45 minutes. And the players, I see the players' words from Paco Alcácer, from Álvaro Negredo, from Rodrigo Moreno, and I see the feeling of a group of players who come back and fight in every single game for me since I've been here. They've been down many times in the last 4 or 5 weeks, but keep coming back every game. And for me, the character is there, the talent is there, but we're just talking about consistency and achieving this from minute 1 to minute 90.
Mister, yo quería preguntarle por eso, porque nada más acaba el partido, Paco Alcácer hace unas declaraciones responsabilizándose, exigiéndose más. Ayer Neville dice, aquí veteranos y jóvenes tenemos que tirar todos del carro. Eso es lo que usted quiere, ¿no? En el grupo, en la línea a seguir, ¿no?
They want a coach who takes responsibility, and I want players who take responsibility. We're together, and I'm very comfortable when I look at them in the eye. I see them in training this morning, I see them in training yesterday morning, and even on Monday morning. When there is obvious disappointment, you know, every time the fans are disappointed, the players are disappointed, but I see in the words, in the actions, the response in every single minute in training, and the words that I hear from Paco and Álvaro are what I would expect from fantastic professionals. It's what I want to hear, and they want to hear that I take responsibility as well, because it's my job as coach to take responsibility for the performance, and I accept that obviously that players are the ones who go out onto the pitch, but it's my responsibility to deliver results for this football club.
Hola, mister. Juan Carlos Alarcón de Plaza Deportiva. El domingo volvió a jugar en Liga Matt Ryan. ¿Eso quiere decir que mañana va a jugar Jaume o va a seguir manteniendo a Ryan? Y si puede explicar el motivo de esta decisión.
I've not made the goalkeepers or the team aware yet of the team, so I think if you're normally I will speak with you about the team, but I've not made the team aware of the team yet, so I think on this particular occasion I'm not going to speak about the individual choice, but to say that Matt and Jaume have both been fantastic in the last 4 or 5 weeks. I know that they've been good before that as well. I think you've seen their level of performance is very high. And I think it's important to say that when my choice is one player over another, it's not because I don't like this player or I don't like that player. I think you'll understand that I've been fair with every single player since I came to this club. And when I pick a player and select a player, it's based upon performance and what my feelings are for this match and maybe the coming matches. So from my point of view, I know that you always want to ask about the goalkeeper situation or another player who's left out, but it doesn't have to be fatal when you leave a player out. It's just a choice because there are 22 players and I have to choose 11.
Hola, mister. Alberto Siles de Radio Marca. Me gustaría preguntarle por Javi Fuego, por un lado, cómo marcha su recuperación y cuándo espera poder contar con él, y por otro lado, si usted también niega, como hizo el club, que se produjese una conversación en la que el futbolista le pedía salir en este mercado invernal.
I'm not aware of any conversation with Javi Fuego regarding leaving. From my point of view, Javi Fuego is with the medical team. He won't be in the squad tomorrow evening, he's not quite ready yet. But I suspect that Javi Fuego will be back as soon as he's ready. He's a fantastic professional. He's an experienced player in the dressing room, one of my captains. He's someone who I want to be included in the group as quickly as possible because obviously he's an experienced player. But at this moment in time, I think I've said on other players as well, I won't force people back from injury quickly to try and say, oh, we need him back, we need him back. I will take my time. To give you a little bit of information, tomorrow Lucas Orban will not be in the squad. Andre Gomez will not be in the squad because of making sure that they're ready for the coming weeks. We have to be very careful with players who've been injured or ill. And I think that from that point of view, they're two players. Bakley also will not be in the squad. Bakley picked up a kick in training this morning that is unfortunate, which means that he won't be quite ready for the match tomorrow. And that's just to give you some information because I don't think you've seen the list yet. But I don't want to think that I'm hiding the list from you. I'm not. We've just come off the training pitch. I've just still come out of the shower and we're just finalising the squad there because obviously with Bakley's injury this morning and the kick, we had to just make sure we just move things around a little bit. So that's the reason that you've not got the list. So that's just giving you information. I don't want you to think that I'm hiding in any way, shape or form from the list.
Sí, mister. Mister, aquí Rafa Villalejo de la COPE. Usted dijo en su llegada que el mercado de invierno era inútil. Hace un par de semanas no lo fue tan tajante y dejó la puerta medio abierta diciendo que usted no había dicho que no se iba a fichar. Y esta semana se ha reunido con el director deportivo y todos intuimos que ha hablado de fichajes. La pregunta es directa. Si puede, ¿va a acudir al mercado de invierno para reforzar el equipo?
The meeting with the sporting director on Monday was organised last week. I met with Suso. I'm trying to think when he was appointed. Was he appointed?
Last week.
Whoever's, yeah. So I met with Suso before he was appointed as the sporting director. On Thursday, are you okay? On Thursday, he was formally appointed as the sporting director of the club. And we agreed on Thursday when I saw him in Granada very briefly for 15-20 minutes before the match, that I said, well, we'll get together next week, we'll meet on Monday. This was a pre-planned meeting. This was not a meeting that was rushed straight after the game against Rayo Vallecano. It was not to discuss we bring this player in, we bring that player in. There was many things discussed in terms of the club, introducing me and him to me, how he works, how I work. Obviously we'd already discussed it, but many different ways in which we will work together over the next period of time. And I have to say, I know that you have this fascination with signings, and I know that, but this window is, I said useless, you used the word useless. I can't remember using the word useless, but if I did, I think it's a good one. Who is doing business? Who is signing players? Very few signings happen in this window because it's just incredibly difficult. My focus is on the players here. I've said that from day one. I know you're bored with me saying it, and I'm sorry to keep repeating it. But I also said, and I want to repeat this, I find it disgusting that a coach can speak publicly about a player who's not in his dressing room. My players are in that dressing room and I believe in them, I have confidence in them. I know that's been questioned in this last 2 or 3 days, but I have confidence and belief in my players and what we're going to do these are very good players that Valencia have. I know that the performances and the results at the moment are below the standards that I expect, the players expect, and the club and fans expect. But it's disrespectful to speak about players, and it's a waste of time this window. I also think that Damia and the press office have also passed you some... Hola. I also think that Damia and the press office within the club have passed you some information with regards to signings as well in this last 2 or 3 days in respect of the club's position. So I think it's important that if you want to follow up on that information, that you speak with the club as well.
Hola, Carlos Martínez de la cadena. Hola, Carlos Martínez de la cadena SER. Insistiendo un poco, veo difícil que por lo que acaba de contestar sea concreto respondiéndome a lo que le voy a preguntar, pero si el Valencia intentara, aunque solamente fuera intentara, porque aparece algún jugador interesante en estos 9 días que quedan de mercado, fichar a ese jugador, ¿qué posición, le pregunto como entrenador de Valencia, qué posición considera, no entro en nombres de los que hay ni de los que no están, solamente considera que cree que el Valencia debería reforzar?
In England we say I have to bang my head against the brick wall. But I'm going to bang it again. I don't really know what you want me to say to that question. I've just answered it in very big detail previously, and I understand that you want to press about signings. It's a January window. Seriously, UEFA, FIFA, you have to do something about this. You have to protect the coaches from these questions, because it is a ridiculous situation where this 4-week window exists where it'd be better if the club started with the same players at the start of the season and finished with the same players and the same coach. So I think from that point of view, my view would be that this window just creates confusion, it creates distraction, it creates noise, and it's everything a coach does not want. Particularly when he wants performance and results, and he wants the players all concentrating on things, and the players in our dressing room have to listen to constant rumour. The players in every dressing room in Spain, in England, in Germany, in Italy have to listen to constant speculation and rumour. But I don't deal in rumour and speculation. I really don't, and I know where you're coming from because I've lived on your side of the fence, and I know. But there's nowhere for me to go on it. I think again, I did say after the last question that I think if Damir, you speak to Damir after, I think he can give you some good information.
Tú todo se está refiriendo que tengamos en cuenta que a la hora de fichar ya no es una cuestión de voluntad de los clubes, es una cuestión de una normativa de la Liga de Fútbol Profesional que, como sabéis, hay un fair play financiero y hay un tope y hay una cantidad que cada club puede asignar a los fichajes y al coste de plantilla, y que no es una cuestión como antes ocurría, sin controlar el gasto, sin controlar lo que, aunque tú quisieras, podías fichar. En estos momentos, como todos sabéis, y todos habéis informado en vuestros medios, es una cuestión de que la Liga lo permita, si tienes margen para fichar o no. Eso es a lo que se refiere el entrenador. Todos lo sabéis, por otra parte.
Dice Víctor Lluc de Onda Cero. Quería preguntarle a un jugador que sí que está aquí, que es Diego Alves. ¿En qué punto está Diego Alves? Y si lo habéis parado, porque creo que lleva un par de días sin entrenar ahí en el campo con vosotros.
Yeah, Diego. Diego. Let me look. Sorry, I'm looking at the date. Yeah, the 18th. The 18th of January, Diego left to go and see the surgeon who performed his operation. It's standard practice that this happens, that you see the surgeon who performs your operation before you return into full-time competition. And Diego, with my permission, with the doctor's permission, has been away now for 2 days, receiving the final reports in terms of his situation. He's doing very well. He's trained with us. I think you've seen he's trained with us now for about 4 or 5 weeks. So no, there's no problem with Diego whatsoever, and we're awaiting the situation developing with the specialist that he's been to go and see. So there's nothing sinister in Diego not being here. It's in full agreement with myself, the club. We've known about it for a long time.
97.7 radio. El otro día el equipo de Mestalla dio muestras de mucho nerviosismo. Me gustaría saber si está de acuerdo con esta apreciación y eso cómo lo combate un técnico. ¿Cómo se combate que el equipo salga nervioso a jugar en su estadio? Gracias.
I think I wouldn't agree with the word nervousness. I mean, it's easy to point. I think that in the first half we didn't perform, but players who are nervous don't come out in the second half like they did. They just don't come out at all. They don't play. So I think from that point of view, I don't agree with the nervousness point. I think I was expecting to be asked the question, but I'm going to make the point anyway, that I accept anything that's said by the media. I have no problem with anything that's said. It's the job of you, and I respect, and I think you're well within your rights to say whatever you want. However, there is a line that I think sometimes is crossed. There is one report, only one, in the last 4 or 5 weeks, 2, but the other one was a bit humorous. But there was one report after the game that I need to challenge. I don't know if the individual is in the room.
No, it's not here.
Ah, surprise, surprise. Who said that I said in the dressing room to the players that they're not fit to wear the shirt. This is wrong. It needs to be reported that this is wrong. And there is a line that is crossed. You can comment on the performance, you can critique the performance, you can praise the performance, you can say what you like, but what I will be very abrupt, and I think I've been very fair. I think you've been very fair with me since I came here. I think you've been good with me. I think I've been respectful and honest back wherever I can be. But I have to correct this position. I have to correct this position because it's very dangerous to think that this was correct. It's absolutely not correct, and I need to say that in this press conference. You'll only ever hear me say for something like this where I feel quite strongly about a specific report where I am misquoted. And I don't mind whatever's said about me, but I think when I'm misquoted through rumour and speculation, I think it's dangerous, and I think that obviously I accept rumour and speculation, but when I think it's something so specific, I need to correct it. Those players are fit to wear this shirt, they have fantastic talent, there are a lot of young players, and they don't need to be reading things like this when it's not true, in my opinion.
Sí, hola, buenas, Conrado Valle del diario AS. ¿Es una ventaja para el equipo que mañana sea un partido de Copa y no de Liga? Mentalmente, ¿le libera al equipo las sensaciones que está teniendo en la Copa del Rey?
No, not at all. I wish we had a Liga match every day. I wish we had a Copa del Rey match every day. I want to play game after game. I don't mean that in terms of I want to play. The idea that I don't want to play in the Liga tomorrow, I want to play in Copa del Rey is, no, I want to play every single game. And I've said from last few weeks, I don't prioritise or think, oh, Copa del Rey tomorrow, we can relax. No, I don't think like that. We have a very difficult game tomorrow, and we have to play well, whether it be the Liga or Copa del Rey. So no, it's not a situation that I think about.
Hola, Enrique Payás, Televisión Española. ¿Le sorprende el apoyo de Mestalla al equipo, sobre todo viniendo de la liga inglesa, con el estilo de afición que usted conoce bien, sobre todo porque parece que mañana el campo no se va a llenar? ¿Le sorprende esto o entiende que es un feedback, una consecuencia del juego del equipo y lo que no ofrece los jugadores? Gracias.
The fans here have been nothing short of incredible to me for 5 weeks, on and off the pitch. They've been very patient. The fans sing behind that goal to my right, and I want to give them everything. I want to give them everything in terms of victory. I want to give them everything in terms of fight, in terms of spirit. The players feel exactly the same. I wish they could see us in the change room after the game, like on Sunday, so that they know that we hurt with them. But from my point of view, I cannot thank them enough and be grateful enough for what they've done in the last 4 or 5 weeks. I know they will continue to support the club, they'll continue to support me. They're here forever. They're here forever, they are the soul of the club. and from my point of view, the support that they give us is fantastic, and we cannot have any complaints about the support that we receive. And I hope against Real Madrid, against Getafe, against Granada, against Rayo Vallecano in the second half, that they understand, that they see spirit in the players. I know we want results, I know we want victories, but I think as long as they see fight and spirit and they see them keep coming back and keep scoring in the 87th minute, 89th minute, this is to me what relationships between players and fans are built on. And at this moment in time, the players know what the fans are like. The fans expect obviously to win, and we expect to win, and we're on the same page. So no, I'm very grateful, and I don't believe tomorrow the fans, whether they come, the ones who are there will support with all their heart, and the ones that don't come have good reason. It's their own individual choice. You know, we want as much support, we need their support, and we thank them for their support.
Buenos días, mister. Pablo Verano, Deportes 4. ¿Ha llegado el momento de Gallá, de que vuelva a entrar en una convocatoria?
So yes, sorry, I didn't. Apologies, pardon. Gaia will be on the list. Yes, sorry. He's trained very well. He had a problem. Actually, one that I know very well. It's a problem that I had during my career. And it takes a little bit of time to settle down, a little bit of patience, but he's trained fantastically well now. He's trained for about the last 2 weeks, Jose Gaia, and in the first 5, 6, 7 days he was building up slowly. Obviously, we've said before, when we get a player coming back, that we want to make sure that he comes back and he stays back. So we've been very patient together. He's been patient with us, we've been patient with him. And tomorrow he will be on the list. Whether I play him or not, or whether I bring him on as a substitute, I've got to decide. You know, whether it's the right thing to play and play part of the game or play from the bench. I've got to decide that, and I'll speak with the team tomorrow. But he's a fantastic player. I need him back. We need him back. The club need him back. His spirit, his character, his enthusiasm, his performance level is very good for this club for now. You know, many months, for the last year, 18 months. But as I said 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, I will not bring a player back in desperation. I will bring a player back when they're ready, to protect the player and to protect the club in terms of making sure he's ready for the next 3 to 4 months. But it's very welcome that he's back on the list.
Mohammed from Tunisian TV. I used to say our opinion as big defender about the technical level of Tunisian player Ayman Abdenour.
Yes. Ayman has trained like a beast this week. His response to not playing last weekend is exactly what I would expect from any player. He's been very professional. I said the other day that, I just said it actually 5 minutes, 10 minutes ago, when a player doesn't play in a match, I suspect the reason you've travelled over is because you sense there's a problem. But there's no problem. I'm unfortunately going to tell you, Ayman is back on the list tomorrow. The reason that we didn't include him on the list at the weekend was to do more preparation for the coming games. His spirit is very good. He's trained very well for the last 3-4 days. And you can tell Tunisia, their boy is safe.
He can play in Premier League one day.
Pardon?
He can play in First League in England one day. He has the quality.
He plays for Valencia in La Liga.
Thank you.
Hola Gary, buenos días. Ignacio de Diario de Mestalla. Usted razonó de forma convincente tras el partido del otro día que no había habido un problema de carácter porque el equipo se había repuesto en la segunda parte. También ha dicho que en la primera parte ahora mismo que no había un problema de nerviosismo. Sin embargo, sí queda la sensación de que el equipo no salió al campo con la actitud correcta. No sé si comparte ese análisis y también lo mismo, ¿cómo se resuelve eso?
I think And you can look back through all my assessments of teams for the last 5 years. The easy thing when a team doesn't play well in a match, the lazy opinion is always, the players, the attitude, the players are nervous, the players are this. Sometimes it's just football, it's life. You go to work sometimes and it doesn't happen. You have moments where it doesn't feel right, things don't connect, things don't work right. And we always look for the bigger solution, the big answer, and there is no big answer. And it's very important that you said about attitude. Attitude is defined by obviously many things, and the biggest sign of lack of attitude is when a team don't respond. This team responds in every single match nearly that I play. We've come back from losing positions 4 or 5 times to get draws and to do well. So from my point of view, yes, we have improvements to make. We have to begin at minute one in the game. But characteristics and attitude, one of the big characteristics and attitude that I found during my career, and when I've watched games and when I've been a coach, is that when your team fights to the end and when they respond, they have good attitude, they have good inner strength, they have good belief deep down. And it's important for me to work with the players to make them believe for 90 minutes of a game that they can go out there and be free and play and be the horrible team that I want Valencia to be, that they want to be, to play against. But it's not an attitude problem, it's not character, it's not lack of work ethic, because teams that come back have lack of these characteristics. This team comes back, this team fights, this team shows game after game that they go to the very end. They run more. What I think you have to understand also is a game against Rayo Vallecano, they run more than they do in a game against Granada when we win 4-0. It's harder work when you're drawing a game or when you're losing a game. It's harder work. So if this was the case, no, I don't believe that. It's not true. But I understand when you don't get good, perfect results, when you don't get results that are expected, people ask this type of question and this type of accusation is thrown at you. But honestly, I believe it to be, it's a lazy opinion in my opinion. But we have to prove results. We need to deliver for the club, for the fans, so that these press conferences don't last 35 minutes, they last 10 minutes. So I noticed when we win, last week in Granada, 5 minutes. You draw, it's 30 minutes. 30 minutos.
Es fútbol. Gana su partido.
Vamos a ir ya.
Vamos a ir acabando.
Las 4 últimas preguntas.
Que se está haciendo ahora el resto.
Buenos días, Mister Cristina de Sports. Yo quería preguntarle propiamente por el partido de mañana ante Las Palmas, después de ese cambio de actitud. Después de ese cambio de actitud, ese refuerzo de actitud de los jugadores en los últimos 3 días, como está aludiendo, ¿qué Valencia podemos esperar mañana ante Las Palmas, un rival que ya consiguió arañar un punto en Liga hace unas jornadas con ese 1-1 en Mestalla? Gracias.
Yeah, I'm aware. I've watched the game, the previous match against Las Palmas here in Mestalla. As I've done before every match I've played, I've watched the previous matches against the opposition to try and get an understanding. I think now having been here for 5-6 weeks, obviously I know when I'm in England that this is a tough league because we watch La Liga all the time. But I understand more now, the opposition. Forget Villarreal, Real Madrid, Las Palmas, Getafe. In the top leagues in the world, and this is the top league in the world, if you're not at your best, you will struggle. You have to be at your best in every single minute of the game against every single opponent because they're all well organised, they all work hard, they all have a good level of talent. And from my point of view tomorrow, I want a performance from minute 1 to minute 90. That's all I'm asking for. That we show full concentration, high intensity, stick to the game plan from minute 1 to minute 90. It's the same that every coach wants from every single game. We're doing it in parts of games and we're fighting and we're showing great spirit, but I think that we can make the games more comfortable for ourselves if we just do it from minute 1 to minute 90. And that's what we're striving for, the players themselves. You've heard from Paco and Alvaro, from Rodrigo Moreno the last 3 days. They don't hide, they're not players who hide. They come and stand and they show character and they stand in front of you and they talk honestly. And that's another characteristic I think that's important, that they stand up. So tomorrow I'm expecting that we begin quickly, we finish quickly.
Aquí Gary, buenos días.
Último.
Manu Jimeno del Desmarque. Hay un nexo en común en las victorias, en las 4 victorias de Copa, y es que el Valencia se ha puesto por delante, se ha adelantado en el marcador siempre, cosa que en la Liga, por circunstancias, siempre ha ido a remolque, siempre ha ido por detrás. Lo máximo que ha dado ha sido para, como bien dices, para remontar y para empatar. ¿Crees que es un punto clave el adelantarse por fin en esos partidos para que luego no se tuerzan, para que luego los rivales no se crezcan?
I think it's a good point. I think that the first goal in any match, I think, is important because obviously it gives confidence, it gives a belief to the team that scores. That's not just Valencia, that's every team. But I think you're right. I think that going up in a game, going in front, always helps. And yeah, you're right, we've not been able to do that yet in La Liga. We've ended up always having to fight back and show spirit. But I think that we've proven when we go in front that we can go and score goals. You know, in the 3 games that I played in Copa del Rey, we scored 9 goals, and that's obviously very good. So yeah, I think you're right, you make a good point, and it's obviously something that we're aware of.
Okay.
Okay, gracias.
Muy bien, gracias a todos.
Thank you. Thank you.